Sakawa plural. Happy Feast of Tabernacles or Booths. All right, so we're just going to get a couple of scriptures and just to put out the vibration of the tabernacles. I like to usually go live during the different days of the tabernacles. All right, so like you bear with me, y'all, if I got like a little pause. It's been a long week preparation and everything. Being out here, basically you're living outside, you're dwelling out in the elements for the 8 days of the tabernacle. So, I'm in my tent, my temporary home for the 8 days, like we did in the wilderness when we came out of Egypt. Sigma warrior. But for real though, why do care what color Jesus was? We should just love as he and was and follow his teachers. Let me ask you something, Sigma warrior, right? Before I get into my lesson real quick, because I don't mind interacting with the people on the live. I don't mind that, right? A lot of brothers and sisters get on me, they say I need moderators or whatever, but you can ask the wildest question or say the wildest thing. And I don't mind engaging you because I'm a real person. But Sigma warrior, brother, sister, whoever you are, who's talking about the color of Jesus Christ right now? See, a lot of y'all, something is wrong with people in these last days. All right? Okay, Skippy. Something is wrong with people in these last days. Sigma warrior, I'm not talking nothing about. I wasn't talking nothing about the color of the Messiah. I'm talking about the Feast of Tabernacles that God gave to his chosen people, the Israelites, to remember when they came out of Egypt. Something's wrong with people in these last days. The reason why I say that is because you're asking something about the color of Christ when we're talking about a holy feast day that the Lord gave to the Israelites. All right? And here we go. You the racists. What's wrong with your God? He doesn't address any of my pain. Just here we go. People are talking random thoughts that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. But anyway, I'll maybe get back to some of y'all questions and comments at the end. I'm here to talk about the third day of the Feast of Tabernacles. It's just a big topic. We understand that, Sigma warrior, but we're not talking about that right now. All right? Why are you bringing up the topic? You saying you're just bringing up the topic, but why? What you should have did or said was, hey, I know you're talking about a feast or whatever, but when you get a chance, if I may, can I present a question or a topic when you're finished? That's the proper way to, where was y'all raised at? All right? So that's what I'm saying. Learn basic etiquette. Let's get back to basic, simple etiquette as people. All right? So, all right, y'all people are bugged out. Something is wrong with human beings in these last days. And I know what it is, but it is what it is. So so we're going to get into okay, y'all. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. So tonight is the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's day 3 of the Feast of Tabernacles. We're just going to read a couple of scriptures to put out the vibration of the Feast of Tabernacles for this night. At the end, I may take a few questions. I may take a few questions at the end, but maybe not. And they got to be legitimate questions on the topic, or they can be off topic, but let them be sincere, legitimate questions. All right, Deuteronomy 31 and 10. Everybody that's on here listening, can y'all hear me good? We at the Feast of Tabernacles. We are tabernacling. We got generators, music, different stuff playing in the background. But can y'all hear me good? Give me a con 777 if y'all can hear me good. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter and the 10th verse. Matter of fact, we're going to start at 9. Deuteronomy chapter 31, not 30, so 30, 31 and 9. And it reads thus and so. And Moses, Mashah, wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and unto all the elders of Israel, because the elders and the teachers, the Levites, the priests, they're supposed to teach the law to the children of Israel. All right, verse 10. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the Feast of Tabernacles. Now remember, there was the law of the servant, of the Hebrew servant. After 7 years, your hired servant was to be set free unless they wanted to continue to work for you and you made a new contract. But the year of release every 7 years, that was to take place at the Feast of Tabernacles. So see, our feast, like we always brought out, our feast had many different layers and meanings to them. It wasn't just us coming out of Egypt, dwelling in the booths or the tents or the temporary housing for 40 years in the wilderness. They had other symbolic spiritual meaning to them. The Lord said, after the 7 years, the year of release, your hired servant worked for you. They can be released in the 7th year on the Feast of Tabernacles. All right? Because now they can go out and set up their own land. They can have their own servants, and they can have their own form of gathering with their own property and things of that nature now. So it's all spiritual layers to these feast days. All right, reading on. Deuteronomy 30, 31, 11. When all Israel is come to appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose. The original place was Jerusalem, but now it's wherever we are in captivity. Wherever we dwell in, we're supposed to bethink ourselves and come back to the laws of the Most High and gather for the Feast of Tabernacles. Us brothers, HOI Northeast, we're in South Pennsylvania. This is the place that the Most High allowed us to have, and we got the whole campgrounds to ourselves. That's the blessing. Why? Because the Most High wanted us here. This way he wanted us this year. We tried to get out one of the spots the brothers used in the past, and it was all booked up. Then brothers looked, immediately they found this spot, and this spot was wide open. Park rangers, Esau, nobody bothering us. We got the whole camp area to ourselves. That's why they blasted the music and partying out there. Salakia. Not to go all into that, but Israel out there having fun for the Feast of Tabernacles. It's not a Sabbath. It's day 3. You know, they enjoy themselves, fellowshipping amongst each other, eating, drinking, and being merry. As long as everything is decently and in order. But my point being, this is where the Most High wanted us to be. Well, this portion of HOI, you got HOI in other states and countries that are also keeping the Feast of Tabernacles in their designated locations. Reading on. Deuteronomy 31:11. When all Israel is come to appear before Yahweh thy power, in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Right? Just like during the time of Ezra, right? Let me see if I can get that. Let's get during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. Let's get Nehemiah 8 and 8. Nehemiah, let's get the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8 and verse 8. Right? And look what happened. Check this out. Right? Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 8. All right, and Nehemiah 8 and 8. This is telling you when in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, which was the Feast of Trumpets, but was in the 7th month also, the Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and the Chag Sacharoth, the Feast of Tabernacles. All right. So what happened in the seventh month? What did they do? Ezra 8 and 8. So they read in the book of the law of Yahweh distinctly and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. And now when you go further down in Nehemiah 8 and 13, I'm not going to read it now because I want to save some of the Feast of Tabernacle scriptures for other days of Feast of Tabernacles. But when you read from verse 13 to verse 18, it tells you they kept the Feast of Booths. What, in the seventh month? And also in the seventh month, what did they do? So they read in the book of the law of Yahweh distinctly and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. Meaning they went in depth into the scriptures and explained it in the law and gave the sense thereof to the people. During the seventh month, Feast of Trumpets, a Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles. All right, so now let's go back to Deuteronomy 31. We're going to go back to Deuteronomy.
Oh, praises. Okay. Amazing feast day going on as we speak. Ashar Kag Sakawaf. Happy Feast of Tabernacles, day 7th. So here we are, celebrating the Lord's feast day, very important day. And this is the Sabbath as well. So it's an amazing day. What's going to happen today? Don't know, but we're going to find out. So far, past 2 days, two huge earthquakes, one in the Philippines, shook, shaking the heathen to their core, and another one in diverse places in Antarctica. You know what I'm saying? From South America to the bottom of South America, the top of Antarctica, called Drake's Passage, like 7.8 magnitude earthquake. And I think it was about like a 7.8 or 7.6. You know what I mean? So very interesting things happening. Something blew up in Tennessee, a military base, 19 people missing. So judgment is taking place as we are engaged in reading, meditating, following the laws of the Most High God, having what they call smorgasbord of a plethora. How about that? A plethora of things to eat. A cup runneth over. While this is happening, judgment's taking place. You know what I'm saying? The United States is probably going to strike Venezuela soon. They got 10,000 troops in the Caribbean and in Puerto Rico. Sent troops over there to Gaza to help with the peacekeeping over there. So, as far as what we've been seeing throughout the week, anything can happen today. So let's talk about it. And this class is called Keep Tabs. Keep tabs. You know what I mean? Keep tabs on what? Keep tabernacles. Keep this feast day. This is an amazing feast day. You know what I mean? Got to plan for it. It's not something you can just do on the drop of a dime. Other people have, but you got to get the land. You got to get your tent. You got to have access to food. First aid kits. Like it gets deep. You know what I'm saying? Things you need to stay warm at night. So it's something you should prepare for. Like now, when this uh event, this feast day is over, start preparing for next year. You know what I'm saying? Start saving, start, brainstorming on what you're gonna do, this, that, and the third. Where you're gonna go, this, that, and the third. Okay. But we'll let next year's handle itself. You know what I'm saying? We'll let tomorrow handle itself. Right now, Trump is bringing troops into Memphis and Chicago. So this is the president of the United States bringing troops into the United States, invading the United States. So prophecy is definitely taking place. Okay. And with that, things might go left. You know what I'm saying? If we're following the laws of the Most High God, and you start to realize that, man, something's up. I don't know why I keep banging my knee against the coffee table, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? What is going on? It's like the Lord is chastising me around this time. It's very difficult. You know, why? We're gonna talk about it. Okay. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 2. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shekaniah, what's happening? All praise and honor to Yahweh Hashem Mashiach Yahushai.
Yeah, Washington Shabbat.
Come, all praises. All right, hopefully everybody's tabernacle is tabernacling the way it should be. You know what I mean? But just in case, you might have tripped and, you know what I mean, stubbed your toe a few times, we're going to talk about the importance of that and why that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Okay, it's definitely not a bad thing. All right. But let's bring that out, King. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 2.
Oh, it's in Wisdom of Solomon. Salaki out in song. Oh, Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 2. Therefore chastises thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein they offended, that leaving their wickedness they may believe on thee, O Lord.
So the chastisement of the Lord, you know what I mean? He's asking just, little by little and have us remember why we offend. Why is that important? Because when it comes down to it, we want to be as sharp as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like boot camp, going in the army, Esau's army, wake up at 4 and got to run 30 miles and do 700 push-ups and you know what I mean? And you can never do it right. You know what I mean? You're always getting yelled at. And, a lot of people quit. A lot of people ring the bell, but if you make it through, what they call hell week and, make it through the storm, you get embraced by uh the higher ups. You made it. You know what I'm saying? You endured, so almost in the same sense, here we are walking on this earth. All praise to Yahweh Shem Shai, is still alive, right? But if you feel like, man, I'm always getting chastised, this thing's always happening to me, I don't know why, this, that, and the third, and to get chastised and to come in remembrance why you're getting chastised, why you're getting some stripes from the Most High, that's invaluable because you're able to switch it up. You know, I'm sure we all on this call can go back in time, you know, and know like people that didn't make it this far. You know what I'm saying? People that we knew that either passed away, got killed, whatever, and they're not here. They're not able to serve the Most High. They're not able to continue to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They're no longer here. It's through the Yahweh Hashem Yahshua's mercy that we're still here. And if you get chastised, you know, he's teaching you to do better. He has you as, you're not bastards in the eyes of the Most High. He treats you as sons. So keep that in mind, especially around this time, because we all have to sharpen up. Let's just be honest. We all have to sharpen up. If everybody says, man, I'm good, I'm cool, you know what I mean? You might feel that way, but we can always do more, right? And some people feel that way out of like pride and arrogance, and they might be really in a bind, they might really be falling apart, but lying to themselves. You don't want to lie to yourself in the last days. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be weeping and wailing and crying when you see chariots come in the sky and you stuck. You know what I mean? You see that nuclear missile flying to come get you. You know what I mean? So like Michael Jordan, right? It's not like he stopped practicing. At one point in time, everybody knew he was the best player in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Game winning shots. You know what I mean? As soon as he got in, everybody had to double team him. You know what I mean? He looked in the crowd, everybody's wearing his jersey. His sneakers are selling at the top notch. He's on top of the world. But he was still in that gym practicing, grinding, you know what I mean? Perfecting his craft, doing the same shot over and over and over again. Because when it comes down to game time and he takes that shot, he's confident that it's going in. He's confident that nobody can stop it. You know what I mean? If he had the mentality, say, of AI, and he's always like, practice, you know what I'm saying? Who needs practice? And he was one of a tremendous player in the league, a whole bunch of natural talent. Obviously he was very athletic, worked on it, but at one point in time, he was like, late for practice. I come here when I want to, this, then, and third. And, his play started to reflect that, not saying he couldn't still drop 30, 40 points, but to get to, you know, a state of Jordan, you know what I mean? Where you're in the Raptors and you have all these rings on your finger. It takes practice. It takes commitment. This truth takes commitment. Commit yourself to the Most High God, and good things going to happen. Don't fall apart like Job's wife and say, curse God. Look what's happening to you. This happened to you in the Feast of Tabernacles, or going into the Feast of Tabernacles. All these things happen, all these terrible things, and like, you feel like God don't love me, so I'm done. I'm done with this. Nah, you might get the chastisement comes. It's a good thing because you're gonna build yourself up. Most High willing, you're gonna see the signs and say, I got to do better. All right, let's go to Ezekiel 21 and 12. And coming in remembrance why you offended is important because it talks about Proverbs 4 and 19. The wicked have no idea what's going on. Trump doesn't know why he had to go to Walter Reed again. They said he had what do you say? He has a daily checkup or a yearly checkup. But if anybody has a memory, he had that yearly checkup in April. It's not April again. So it obviously wasn't a yearly checkup. And that Walter Reed and the doctors lie all the time because they were talking about Joe Biden he is fit as a fiddle. He's good to go. Joe Biden was tripping down the steps, tripping up the steps, falling off his bike. Everybody else is looking like, I don't think that's a fit person. You know what I'm saying? He has no idea where he's at. He's talking at a graduation for, cadets, dudes that have been waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, running 25 miles, and Joe Biden's like, where am I? And the doctor's like, yo, he's doing good. He's top notch. So they, I don't want to say they gotta lie, but in order to have that type of job, if they say that, yeah, the president has dementia, the president's falling apart, Russia's like, all right, it's time. Let's invade. You know what I mean? So I guess they feel they have to lie, for the sake of the country, but at the same time, Trump don't know why his hand is turning black. Trump don't know why he's fumbling his words and saying the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? The Most High putting that spirit on him to go into these cities and smack brothers around. Most High willing, they wake up and say, "All right, I see who my enemy is." You know, but bringing it back to the Proverbs, the wicked don't know what's going on. They don't know why they're messed up. But us coming into remembrance, like, dang, yeah, I did heat something up during the Sabbath, didn't I? Yeah, yeah, that's why this is happening. I did have a thought about my brother, about my sister that wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? Not treating them as I want to treat themselves. Yeah, that's probably why this is happening. You know what I'm saying? You can go back. You be conscious enough to go back to why things are going on, and that's important. That's really important these last days. All right, you can bring that out, Ezekiel King.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 21, verse 12. Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of a sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh.
Okay, so the princes of Israel, the leaders of Israel, right, and the people of Israel, okay, Most High will send that terror to you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, verse 13.
13. Because it is a trial. And what is the sword condemn, Slaki? And what if the sword condemn even the rod? It shall be no more, saith the Lord God.
So this is a test, man. You know what I'm saying? We're living, but people say it's a simulation. You know, some people say it's a simulation. You know, things don't, as far as like science goes, unless you're looking at it, it doesn't exist. It's deep when you look into it. You know what I mean? Um, also your how things can be affected. It doesn't matter time and space. You know what I mean? Your thoughts. It's it gets real deep. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure once Yahweh Shem Shai, when he sends his son back, we're gonna have that knowledge of what this thing really is all about. But it's a trial. You know what I mean? You're being tested. When you're in tabernacles, that's why I always say, man, make sure you straight when you come out there. Make sure you and all praise the Most High that, a few days ago we were celebrating, you know, uh Day of Atonement. And the Day of Atonement, even though it's a fast and you're afflicting yourself, it really is a celebration. You have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? How many people have opportunity to go in front of Yahweh Shem Shai and say, I apologize. You make things right with your brothers and sisters. These heathen nations, ain't nothing they can do to get on the Most High's good side. They're not changing prophecy. Donald Trump says, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Even though I've been a racist my entire life, and so my family, and so my family, and so my grandparents and everything, I apologize." And then all of a sudden, Most High is like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sounds good." They have a track record, you know, coming at us when we coming out of ancient Egypt. Going all the way back to that, we fighting in the womb. They the original can't get right. We have opportunity during the feast of David Thomas, rather, to apologize and to make things right and to repent and come back to a state of you know where the Most High sees us in a positive light, and then we can go to Feast of Tabernacles in the woods. Okay, so when we go out there, it's always good to be on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? To be doing the right thing and be aiming to do the right thing. And then boom, now we have tabernacles, we tabernacling, reading scriptures, prophesying, getting close with each other and, eating good, drinking good, and you know what I mean? Enjoying nature, you know what I mean? Um, but we can't forget that this is a trial, this is a test. Brothers were seeing chariots in the sky. And I hit you with this. You see a chariot in the sky, it might have just left. If you can follow where I'm going with this. It might have just left, because they got the power to freeze time, go backwards, you know what I'm saying? So they checking us out. They watching us. They listening. Not just what we saying, but what we thinking. It's nothing for them to read your mind because they speak telepathically. When Yahushua was on the earth, and then the Pharisees and Sadducees, like he knew what they were thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's deep. You could be saying one thing and thinking the other. You know what I mean? It's time to get wood, right? It's getting cold out. All right, let's go send some brothers out there to chop some wood. You might say, and you might say like, okay, that sounds good. But in your mind, you're like, I don't know why I gotta go chop wood. I did it yesterday, and this person ain't do it, so here I go doing it. And I'm just so here you are in your mind murmuring in the wilderness. That's not a good look. Why? Because we're being watched tremendously close. You know, you you see a sister see another sister, Shalom sister, but in her mind, look at her with that head wrap. I was gonna buy that last year, but I ain't, I couldn't afford it, or I ain't had nothing to wear with that dress. And now she got it. She look ugly in it. And this, that, and the third. Like, you know, you thinking your thoughts are your own. You're thinking that nobody else can hear what you're thinking. But the Most High God, the most important person, is listening to you. Any type of murmuring, backbiting, proudness, you know, all that is being logged with a with a what is it with a pen of what is that diamond tip pen. You know what I'm saying? It's being logged, and you're like, I didn't do anything wrong. But then you see a daggone spreadsheet of everything you ever thought of. Once again, this is a test. You're being tested. You have to pass these tests in order to make it to the next level. You know what I mean? If Yahweh, Bashim Mashiach Yahushai, let you, somebody that thinks ill about everybody, you know what I mean? That you always in a sour mood and you always ready to cuss people out and you always ready to, you know what I mean? Will he give you access to a chariot that can go from A to Z in a split second? Will he give you access to a chariot that if you hit one button or even just think of hitting a button, it could destroy a whole city or a whole country? You know what I mean? Like, this is bigger than the military. This is bigger than anything we ever been a part of. This is happening right now. He's checking us out. We have to pass, which means we have to legitimately change. Changing on the surface is worldly. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. Changing on the surface and as a minister, a priest, I used to be a pimp. I used to have hoes for days. I used to rob and steal every time I got a chance. But the government, I mean, white Jesus gave me a chance to change for redemption. You know what I'm saying? And people are just hooping and hollering and here's my wallet. You know what I'm saying? Here, balling up dollar bills. Let's put anointing on these $100 bills. Lord, I put the anointing on these $100 bills. I need a new Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying? That is a worldly change because he's saying he changed, but in reality, he just got a different hustle. We as law-abiding Israelites, we legitimately have to change. We legitimately have to go, um, you know, put our best foot forward. You know what I mean, and change our thought pattern, change our words, change our actions, and our character will change. But it starts in your mind. It starts with able to control your mind and control your thoughts. If you can't control your thoughts, then you're gonna slip up. You know what I mean? It'd be easy for people to see right through you because you're eventually you're gonna slip up and say, oh yeah, that head wrap, it looks kind of ugly. I mean, not ugly, but it just looks. I wouldn't wear it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's going. Oh, I didn't mean to even say that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's constantly in your thoughts. It's going to come out. You know what I mean? What's going on, brother? You finally gonna do something today? I mean, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, are you gonna help out with the cooking or help out with the cleaning of the pots? Are you gonna help out with something? You're gonna sit in your tent and just come out and eat and go back in your tent. And you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna do that today, brother? I didn't mean it like that though. But that's your thinking, and it might be legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Really, you can ask him like, "Yo, are you gonna do something today?" You know what I'm saying? But if you are carrying around like secret hate and animosity towards people, or you are that person that is not helping out with anything, you know what I mean? It's going to come out. I mean, obviously, if you're not helping out with anything, everybody's going to be able to see that. But you're not fooling anybody. Do you know what I'm saying? And God's going to judge. Let the Most High God judge. He'll take care of things. And Most High willing, you get a wisdom of Solomon 12:2, where you get chastised little by little, and you come into remembrance like, yeah, yeah, I wasn't doing nothing this week. I just let everybody do everything. I was just sitting back like the king. You know what I mean? And everybody else is my servant. Let me get my act together. So that chastisement keep pushing you in the right direction. We should be able to work together. We should be able to get along. We should be able to not care about little frivolous things like head wraps. And I mean, I'm saying not head wrap is frivolous, but like, in the bigger picture, you don't want to not make it into the kingdom of heaven because you just hating on sisters' head wraps. You just not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not treating your brother as yourself. Okay. Let's go to Sirach 45:1. So we're just being really watched closely. You know what I mean? And we have an example of somebody that was in the wilderness that the Lord was dealing with. Do you know what I mean? And why was he dealing with him? What did the Most High God see in him that, you know, Korah wasn't in that, he wasn't Moses. He said, I could do what Moses does. You know what I mean? And he ended up being eaten by a sinkhole. What was the difference in that? It's pride. Big thing about it was pride. He was prideful. We could do this and we could do that, and I'm this and I'm that. Moses was like, yo, I'm happy to be here, man. You know what I'm saying? And like legit meekness, legit humility, and not, surface level. He was legit humble. Okay. Let's bring that out. Sirach 45:1.
Come on, this is the book of Sirach, in the Apocrypha, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 45 and verse 1. And he brought out of men a merciful man, which found favor in the sight of all flesh, even Moses, beloved of God and men, whose memorial is blessed.
Yeah, beloved of God and man. God loved them, man loved them, and that causes hate. You right? Unfortunately, it causes hate from other brothers. You know what I'm saying? Other brothers like, I can do what he does. Who you think he is? You know? But that's part of I don't want to say it's part of human nature. It's part of some humans' nature. You know what I mean? To always constantly compare themselves to others instead of working on themselves, looking deep within themselves, um, making their body a living sacrifice for the Most High, seeing what they can do today for God to push this truth, to push it further out. You know what I mean? To the far reaches of the universe, to let all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans know who they are and what they should be doing in these last days. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really do anything positive for Yahweh Shem Shai if you always worried about somebody else. If your thoughts is always constantly comparing yourself to others, then how are you doing the work of the Most High? Your consciousness, your thoughts, your awareness is outside. You know what I mean? You should be inside, thinking of the next move. What can I do? What can I do to further this truth? Now they got these AI videos that are awesome, man. You know what I mean? Like that are going viral. And I think that's one reason that we understand TikTok. You start seeing Putin opening up a picture of the Black Madonna. They like, we can't have this. We gotta take TikTok, destroy this whole algorithm, and we're gonna have Barron Trump running it. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a fixture in TikTok now because he's gonna help the youth. But you know, showing the pictures of the Russian icons and everything like that, they had this, they had to dismantle TikTok, right? Um, but these AI videos now, it's like it's a brother walking up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Judah. You know what I'm saying? So-called Black American. I'm from I'm in the ghettos of the United States and all over. You can find me in the hoods pretty much. Um, yeah, we waking up though." And then Ephraim comes up, like, "Yeah, I'm Ephraim, so-called Puerto Rican." Da da da. So somebody did that. Somebody did that and put their best foot forward, and that thing is shooting off. You know what I mean? So this is something that you know somebody thought of. All praise. From obviously from the mercy of Yahweh Shema Shai. But if this person was always worried about the next person and backbiting and this, that, and the third, and always got a solution for every problem, somebody like that has a solution for every problem. If they had that, they weren't able to think of something like that to you know manifest that and put that on wax, as they say. From the strength and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, so that's we gotta get that worldly thoughts out of your mind and aim to be like Moses. I mean, when I say aim to be like Moses, see that as an example. What did it say? A memorial was blessed, beloved by Yahweh. Yeah, I think I want to be in that type of light. I want to aim to be in that type of light, have my memorial blessed and be loved like Yahweh. I mean, beloved by Yahweh. Let's get Numbers 13 Slakia, Numbers 12 and 3. All right. And Moses in the wilderness dealing with these knuckleheaded Israelites, man. I want to go back. I want some cucumbers and garlic. Ooh. I didn't eat. I didn't eat for 2 minutes. I'm upset. Ooh. Whose show is this anyway? It's ridiculous. Just always got your mouth poked out. It don't matter what's happening. You always got a issue. You know what I mean? That is being watched and documented and stamped. You know, that's just scary. It scares me. I don't know about everybody else. That's something scary. I'm not trying. You know what I mean? They had the Most High be writing that down. Like, oh, what he say? Okay, I got you. You know what I mean? The angels documenting stuff. Nah, better be on some. Aim to be on some Moses type time. Let's just bring that out of Numbers, King.
Oh, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 12 and verse 3. Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's humble. You know, I think about it like this: meekness. It's a catch-22, right? Because as an Israelite, you're excited that you know the truth. You know what everybody else is looking for and everything. You got the answers. You know that the Bible is true. You know that the Most High God is the maker of heaven and earth and his son. You know what I mean? And they should be reverenced. You know this. You know that following the law is the best thing you can do in your situation, regardless of whatever your situation is. Following the law is the best thing you can do. And good things happen as a result. You know that the churches are spewing lies. You know that. So it's like you could be pumped up a little bit, like, man, I know all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know how to break down Daniel. I know how to break down Revelation. You know what I'm saying? I know how to break down the Garden of Eden. You know what I'm saying? And the fruits and everything like that. Yeah, this stuff I know. So it's like you can get pumped up, but you got to remain humble because you don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. Nobody knows when Yahweh Shai is coming back. You know what I mean? That off top should be like, all right, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If I don't know, then I don't know. So let me just humble down. you know, and Satan can jump on anybody. Satan jumped on Peter. He was the rock, so Satan ain't jumping on me. If you believe that, then I got a bridge to sell you. Not on the Sabbath, but afterwards, cash at me $1 million. I got a bridge. And then I'll send it UPS or whatever. Come on, man. Keep that in mind. If you don't know everything, that should humble you down. And just like Job, he told Job, like, were you there when the angels were singing? Were you there when I cut the boundaries? Were you there? And Job is like, Job probably, I mean, with a smart face would be like, man, he probably sitting with his head down, like, yeah, I don't know. Same thing with Ezra. When Uriel's giving a message from Yahweh, letting them know, like, can you see sound? You know what I'm saying? Like, you wave fire. Like, it was this crazy stuff. He's like, how do you expect me to know this stuff? I'm a mortal man. He's like, all right, then, humble down. And that should be something that we all should, you know, be highly aware of going into the Feast of Tabernacles, highly aware going into Hanukkah, highly aware going into Passover, because these are times where it's like a refreshing time. Like, Most High might just destroy you, because if you don't have the right spirit going into these high holy days, he be like, man, we're done. We're done with this. It's time to come on home. All right, you're just not getting it, you know. Or it could bring people home. It's other ways, you know what I'm saying? You had a good fight, you fought your good fight. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you going off and he's saying it's time to come. You know what I mean? You messing up. You're not paying attention. Who wants that? All right. Let's get second Ezra, 5:54. And think about this, right? For the most part, right? I know myself personally, and the people I talk to, we weren't born into the truth. We're born into Christianity, born into Islam, born into atheism. You know what I'm saying? Born into other doctrines and religions that weren't um, conducive, hand in hand with Yahweh Shem Shai, following the laws of the Bible. You could be born a Christian and not know that there's a whole book that a whole half of the book you've never read, because you always saying Jesus love everybody, Jesus love everybody. Pass the collection plate, you know. So we started with a little with a handicapped, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Metaphorically speaking, we started with a handicap. We can't use that as an excuse now. You know what I mean? We gotta sharpen up now. But we have to humble down, because the scriptures tell us that we pretty much less than Samson. You know what I'm saying? Our strongest people nowadays ain't holding the feather, ain't holding no weight to Samson. You know what I mean? Elijah and calling down fire from the sky, and Moses, you know what I'm saying? Um, you know, Noah building a huge ship. You know what I'm saying? He just, Moses, what you doing? I'm building a ship. That thing's huge. You know what I'm saying? Slocky, we're lesser than them off the strength of when we were born. And the scriptures will tell you that. That in itself should humble us down. You know what I mean? Our ancestors with who's it, Samuel? You know what I mean? Samuel's hearing the voice, you know what I mean, of God's messenger, Samuel, Samuel, here I am. You know what I mean? Have you heard that? You know what I'm saying? Have you heard audio of God's angels talking to you? Do you know what I mean? That if you haven't, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't been on chariots and talked to the people on the chariots, you know what I mean? It should definitely humble you down and ask yourself, how come I haven't seen that? What am I doing wrong? Or what can I do different? Maybe not doing anything wrong, but what can I do different to experience these amazing things? I guarantee you this. You get yourself on a chariot and have a conversation with somebody on that chariot, or at least listen to what they have to say, that'll humble you down. that you'd be like, what the heck is going on in this world? This is serious. You know what I'm saying? Might have you shaking in the corner for a couple days. You know what I mean? Might have you turn off your cell phone and not want to go outside for a little bit because your whole mind state has shifted. That'll humble you down. All right. And we should aim for humility in these last days so the Most High can work through us. Go ahead, Ken. You could bring that out in Ezra.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 5, and verse 54. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that are before you.
Khan, go ahead.
And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have now passed over the strength of youth.
Khan, can you imagine you have, a 5-year-old and a 25-year-old, and the 5-year-old tried to tell the 25-year-old what to do? Like, these are your children, right? 25-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old's like, well, you need to do this, and we're gonna do that. Like, man, if you don't sit your behind down, you know what I'm saying? You probably smack him in the back of the head, like, man, I was your age 20 years ago. Things that I've done, you can't even imagine, how to get there. You know what I'm saying? So humble down. We have to do that as an entire species, the entire Israelite group. We gotta all humble down, man. It's some camps that say if you ain't down with us, then you ain't making it into heaven. Where's that scripture? You know? Anybody see that?
Oh no, I said come. I didn't know I was on mute still. So
Huh?
no, I said come. I was agreeing with you with the last thing you said about the camps. Saying if you're not part of them, that you're not making it.
Con. It was a white something, white ball flying around. There's nothing here. All right, so we're gonna stamp that. What time is it? Time stamp that. Second Ezra's. We'll come back to that. I'm gonna repost it. I'm gonna look at it, repost it, and this is what it is because God is listening. We're gonna listen. God, Most High God is listening. There's angels and campuses around us. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Jews according to the Bible. Camps gotta humble down. Brothers and sisters gotta humble down because they are always listening. All right, they're always listening. And this is serious because this day is the Feast of Tabernacles, it's a Sabbath, and all praise and honor to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahushai that just happened. Focus in Israel and come back to the law, statutes, commandments. All right. I don't know if anybody else seen that, but I'm gonna go back after this because we're live streaming. There's nothing here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here by myself, nothing here. And it was an orb, a white orb, we want to call it, angelic being, that the ministering spirit that just flew all around my shirt. Okay. And what was I talking about? Being humble. Camp's not thinking that, everybody needs to be with my camp. I'm the best person in the world, man. You got humble down, man. Unless you was riding on chariots with your Hawashai, you know what I'm saying? And he told you that, and he gave you your crown already. You ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Humble down. All right. Okay. Where do we go from here? What was I saying? Uh, we're less than our folks. You know what I'm saying? But a great day. It's always a great day when you wake up, even if it's rough. The fact that you woke up is a good day. But the fact that angels are manifesting and showing themselves is a great day. 3i Atlas coming soon. I can only imagine what that is. All right. Not saying it's Yahushai, but I know damn well it ain't no comet. You know what I'm saying? That thing's made of nickel. That was made it was made somewhere. Okay. I don't say it was made in a lab. It was made in a factory. I don't know where it was made, but that thing was made. All right. It ain't natural. And right now, I think it's going behind the sun. And it can't. That's why Ivy Loeb is like, man, this thing might be hostile because we're not gonna be able to see it now. It could change direction, it could slow down, it could speed up. We don't know what's gonna happen because we can't see it. And he's like, I don't think that's an accident. Well, Ivy Loeb, Amalekite, I don't think it's an accident either. All right. Let's get Psalm 22, verse 46. And let me hold on real quick. Let me see something before you bring that out. Uh, okay. Let me do this. All right. Need a timestamp because I'm about to look. After I'm done, I'm gonna have to look and see what, that was pretty crazy. But it happens a lot though. You notice that? It happens a lot. All right, let's go to Psalm 22, verse 4. Baruch Shah.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 22 and verse 4. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them.
Khan, go ahead.
They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded.
Khan. So trusting in Yahweh Shem Yahushai is first and foremost, you know what I'm saying? Because we have documented records of when we trust in the Most High, good things happen. Go ahead, read verse 6.
But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despise of the people.
This is David. David's like, I'm a worm. Do you know what I'm saying? Is anybody greater than David? Can you look at yourself in the mirror and says, I'm better than David? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a man of the Most High's heart. We should look at, and Abraham. Abraham was a friend of the Most High. Like he says, he's my friend. You know, so we're not up there with those men. You know what I'm saying? Just purely based upon when we were born. You know, what I mean? The time payment. We're the 5-year-olds, and he's the 25-year-old smacking us in the back of the head, and we get to read scripture of what he did and the battles he fought, and his strategic, and you know what I mean, his strategy of war and all that. We get to read all that about David. You know what I'm saying? Which is beautiful. You know what I mean? Um, are we up there with him? And he says, I'm a worm. You know what I'm saying? I'm a worm. So his level of humility is like, man, I'm less. I'm less. So what does that make us? So imagine us being high-minded just because the Most High woke us up first, right? Which is a blessing, of course. But the Most High woke us up before waking up other people. We're probably the only people on our block that have fringes. Every time we get on the train or the bus or something like that, we're the only people that probably have fringes. We go into a mall, we're the only people that have fringes. We go to work, we're the only people that have fringes or zeets, you know what I mean? And and that's a beautiful thing. Most High found us worthy to wake us up. But does that mean our head needs to explode because it's so big? Like, oh, look at me. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. Nah, nah. We have to humble down. Our forefather David said, I'm a worm. Let's go to Psalm 84 and 10. You know, a reproach of a man, despised of the people. He's going through it. But keep in mind, if he's humble and he's the king, you know what I'm saying? And we're high-minded and we're serving the dirtiest, disgusting heathens on the planet. They don't wash their hands. They have bath day. Okay, is it Wednesday? All right, it's bath day. Finally, time to wash ourselves. We're under those people. They can't even sit in the sun without getting skin cancer. We're under them. So humility should be our number one goal. You know what I'm saying? I gotta humble down, man. Unless I can find a way out of this captivity through, uh, of course, through Yahweh Shem Shai, not doing our own. But what can I do more to get us out of this captivity? I got to be humble. Look at Donald Trump. What? This is who's ruling over me? That should not piss you off. That should make you more humble than anything. And of course, make you upset. Like him? Yeah, so great. Okay, we're gonna send the National Guard to Memphis, one of the blackest cities in the world, and Chicago. Can't stand these niggas. We're gonna send them. We're gonna have our ICE agents go into an apartment building at 4 o'clock in the morning and zip tie children that are naked. And we already know that Esau is a pervert anyway, so he's looking. Oh, look at this little kid. Probably taking pictures. Make sure the kid, make sure this guy doesn't have warrants. That doesn't bother you? Oh my God, I'm heated with that. And grandmothers, you know what I'm saying? At 4 o'clock in the morning, they cold. They ain't got no shoes on their feet because they banging down their door and bringing in. We're under those people. That there's nothing to be proud of at this point in time. Until we get a crown on our head, then all right. And even then, we're still under Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Some Israelites, I believe, would be sitting there like, man, I could do what Yahweh Shai does. They might be humble at first, but then that natural instinct kicks in of, you know, that hood mentality, you know what I'm saying? That jailhouse mentality that we all might have had at one point in time that we can't continue to have, where we just sizing people up all the time. Like, man, I could take advantage of him. I could take advantage of her, you know? To the point where they sit in front of your house shot like, savior of the world. I bet you I could save the world. You know what I mean? I could make planets too, you know? That mind state will not survive what's coming. It's not. Okay? Bring that out, King.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 84, and verse 10. For a day in thy court is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness.
Time. David said, I'd rather hold the door in the kingdom. The doorman. You know what I'm saying? Not the consigliere, not the maitre d', you know what I'm saying? Not the head chef, you know what I mean? None of that. I'd rather be a doorkeeper. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty much a subservient role. You're holding the door for people. That's what the king said. The king of Israel said that. So shouldn't we be humble? You know what I'm saying? If the king of Israel that we're reading about thousands of years later, shouldn't we be more humble? Shouldn't we be more receptive to our brothers and sisters? You know, shouldn't we aim to be closer to Yahweh Shem Yahushai every day that goes by, getting closer and closer, hitting that level of contact with the Most High, Christ and the angels. You know what I'm saying? Because it's different frequencies, if you will. One frequency is I got a belly full of pork. I don't keep the Sabbath. I beat my wife. I'm a lion in my home. You know, shrimp, crab, and lobster for dinner. You know, I look down upon everybody I meet because they're not me. Look at me, look at me. You know what I'm saying? That's the frequency. And then you pray, oh Lord Jesus. Praying to Jesus, not God. Oh Lord Jesus, I need your help. That's an AM radio station, man. That's nothing but static. That thing is that's not piercing the clouds. But then you have another frequency, another station where don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, nothing abominable. Keep the Sabbath to the T. You know what I'm saying? What time is it? Oh, I might be hungry, but I ain't buying nothing. I'm not. I'm not David getting the showbread. I'm cool. I'm gonna, I'm good. You know, I see my brother and my sister as I see myself. How would I want to treat myself? Would I want to would I want to yell at myself? Why I want somebody to yell at me? Why I want somebody to look down on me? Would I want somebody to give me hell? You know what I mean? For the slightest mistake or what I perceive as a mistake. You know? Or would I say, I see where this person is at right now. You know what I mean? Might be new into the truth. Or not new into the truth, but just, made a mistake. Brothers make mistakes. Sisters make mistakes. Not looking down upon them. Praying for them. Not praying that, oh, that nigga's gonna get it. Praying for them. Hopefully they get it together, Most High. And then you pray. Those are two very different places in life. You know what I'm saying? Which one are you going to aim to be at? Which one do you want to be at when the sky cracks open? You know, as doing the best you can do, or barely. I'm in the truth, but yeah, look, Ushers coming to Philly next month. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the new moon. Not looking forward to Hanukkah. Not looking forward to the next Passover. Usher's coming to Philly, man. Yeah, I don't know if Usher's coming to Philly. That's the first thing I thought of. But where's our mentality? Okay, let's go to Psalm 139 and verse 23. So we have two examples right there, Moses and David, of people that are highly looked upon by the Most High God in the scriptures. And one thing that they both seem to allude to coming off of them is humility. That's what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? That's what the scriptures seem to be talking about. It says that Moses was humble. David was a warrior, but very humble. And the Most High says a man of his own heart. That's something I think we should all aim to be um in um that sector, I don't know, realm, you know what I mean? Aim to be like, okay? As a good example, as an example. Excuse me, sniffing stuff. I was outside for a week. My allergies ain't doing too good. All right. Salaki, let's bring that on Psalm, King.
It's Psalm chapter 139 and verse 23. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts.
We gotta say this. You know what I mean? I remember I said this before. I'm like, would you want God to really, would you want to meet, angels and stuff like that? And brothers and sisters would be like, nah. Some brothers be like, nah, I'm cool. Because you're not right. That's the only thing I can think of. Something ain't right. You should correct that. You should correct it soon. Because there's too much going on to not see it. Too much earthquakes in diverse places. 7.8 magnitude earthquake on the top of Antarctica, which is the largest earthquake in that region. Okay. The earthquake in the Philippines, them running all over the place is a sight to see. The heathen was scared to death. These are large earthquakes happening, and then large aftershocks happening, and tsunamis too. Just because a tsunami didn't kill 1,000 people, that don't mean the tsunami didn't happen. So the waves are roaring. You know what I mean? And who knows? The tsunamis could hit these deserted islands where it's just a bunch of heathens on it, and they just wipe them off the face of the map. Nobody knows because CNN's not there reporting on it. But these are tsunamis occurring. You know what I mean? Tsunami waves. Okay. So with all this stuff happening, ask the Most High God, check me out. Am I doing what I want? Am I doing your will? Are you happy with what I'm doing? And that's a tough pill to swallow because you might get an answer like, nah, you messing up. You doing too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling you right now. Who do you think you are? You just said this, you thought that. You know what I mean? And you'll get that response. You'll get an answer. You gotta be ready for it. And it might come with a judgment. But damn it, at least he's still alive. At least you're still moving in the right direction. I mean, you know what I mean? You start moving in the right direction. When's the last time you fasted? Was it Day of Atonement? Cool. Wasn't that long ago. When's the next time you're gonna fast? You gonna allow these demons to get back on you? Same problems, same issues? Nah, man. Call a fast. Learn to pray. Learn to meditate. Learn to keep that meditative state throughout the day. So things aren't necessarily bothering you. You know what I'm saying? You want things, that don't bother you and all that, right? Because the Most High God's gonna deal with it. You know what I mean? Oh, Con. So like I just seen the chat. Mass shooting in Lehan, Mississippi, heavily populated with our people from crackers in Mississippi. So okay. Yeah, this is they serious. When they say, we're gonna get y'all, Esau's not playing. Esau, first of all, he has been getting us. And now he feels he has a reason. He has not a reason, but he has ammunition, so to speak, like, whoa, I'm justified in doing this. Now, Khan and the other autopsy came back with Trey Reed that they hit him in the back of the head. Yeah, ain't the time to be playing around. But check me out. Bring God, bring the Most High God, bring Yahweh into your life. Okay. And just like a child that has to burn their hand on the burner, that might have to happen. And once you burn your hand on the burner enough, change is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Unless you might like to get burned, Hopefully it just happens one time. You're like, all right, boom, I'm done. I'm out. But, that doesn't normally happen like that. Most High, he'll mold you as, he'll mold you as he's the potter, we're the clay. He'll mold you into um where he wants you to be. But don't be afraid of that. Okay. Go ahead, you can read the next verse.
24. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
We were trying to get to this everlasting kingdom. I mean, I would hope so. You know what I mean? I can't speak for everybody, the way some brothers and sisters is moving, but I would think you would want to make it into an everlasting kingdom. We are so close. There are Russian nuclear missiles, North Korean nuclear missiles, Iranian nuclear missiles, China nuclear missiles. Something happened with China last night. I didn't even get a chance to see it because I was about to go in this class. Something happened with China last night. They did tariffs, it's trade wars going on because you no understand, history. Oh, dag, it just came up. Mississippi mass shooting, 4 dead, 12 injured. Dag, gone. That is wartime. That's like a city in Iraq or a city in Ukraine. That's like actively in a war. That's crazy. Whoa. Yeah, Matt, what's that? Second Ezra, the 5th chapter. People gonna be taking in large numbers. Paraphrasing. Um, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I would think you would want to make it into you're so close. You're so close. It was a point in time if people were reading the scriptures in 1300 AD, 1305, 14, they're reading these scriptures, they're like, what arrow can do that? You know what I'm saying? What arrow is going to be shot at Babylon? Just one arrow? And then now we got the scripture. It's like, oh, that's a nuclear missile. Oh, burn with fire, burn in the elements. Oh, everything's coming together. Okay. Let's get Iraq 18 and 20. Okay, so Don't be afraid to ask the Most High to come into your life. If Wisdom of Solomon 12:2, you start to get chastised. You know what I mean? Hebrews 11, you start to get chastised. Count it all joy. You're still here. You have a repentant mind state. Wake up to repent. Go to sleep, repent. So when that sky cracks open and the thief comes, he said like coming like a thief in the knife. Sakia. When he's coming like a thief in the night, Yahweh, you're good. You're like, oh man, I'm glad I repented this morning. I'm glad I repented last night. I'm glad I'm trying to stay in this meditative, sharp state of focusing on the scriptures, still moving around, still cooking, cleaning, going to work, and this, that, and the third, but still focusing, not getting overwhelmed by celebrity gossip. Man, you like Cardi B? Man, this is Nicki Minaj, man. You ain't caught up, man. Caught up in worldly things. Let's bring that out, King.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 18, and the Apocrypha, also known as Ecclesiasticus, in verse 20, 18 and 20.
Mhm.
Before judgment, examine thyself, and in the day of visitation thou shalt find mercy.
So before it goes down, examine yourself. You know what I mean? Examine yourself. Yeah, I'm telling you, and I'm telling me. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be nobody out there that feels that, man, I'm gonna make it to kingdom heaven. I'm gonna make it to kingdom heaven. And that's a proud mind state. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if you're doing everything in your power, you think, man, I'm the best me right now. Old me was selling drugs, robbing people, always looking for a fight, trying to find where the hoes, where the hoes at, you know what I mean? Um, just in a way, popping pills, smoking weed, stay drunk, just doing whatever you want to do, in a worldly aspect. That's the old me. Now, new me is reading the scriptures, wearing my fringes, treating my brother as myself, going out to camp, waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, whether it be on the street corners or no, on the street corners, and I'm online doing it, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. If you're the best version of yourself, you would hope, boom, I'm gonna make it. But that's not, you don't want to get too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Comfortable is deadly. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm cool. Saul was comfortable. Saul was like, oh yeah, you want me to, wait for you to sacrifice? All right, I got you. I'm gonna sacrifice anyway. Oh, you want me to kill all the Amalekites? Yeah, I got you. Man, they got some good sheep over there. I think the Most High gonna like me to sacrifice these sheep. You know what I mean? And take the king, not kill everybody, right? He got comfortable, and what happened? David was right up there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in the movie, just mug him out the way. Like, all right, I'm king now. But the Most High had David set up already. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, such and such will. We'll get you out of here. Such and such gonna come up and take care of business. Don't get X'd out, you know. Let's go to Haggai 1 and 5. One of my favorite scriptures. I mean, I know I say that a lot. I got a lot of favorite scriptures, but this is one of them, you know, and it's for a reason. So look, examine yourself so you can get mercy. When you examine yourself, be like, man, I could be doing this better. I could be doing that better. And you are the only person, uh, I'll say the only, mortal person that knows you better than you. You know what you should be doing, whether it be a significant other that knows you as well, your parents, siblings, but you know you. You know what you could be doing better, and you should definitely do it. Okay. So you can find mercy in these last days. Okay. Go ahead, King. You bring it out.
This is the book of Haggai, chapter 5, verse 1. Now, therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Consider your ways. Yeah, Haggai's 1 and 5. God. Consider your ways. What are you doing? You know what I mean? We out there in the elements. It's the weather, it's beast, you know what I mean? It's crazy Edomites. You know what I'm saying? So going into the Feast of Tabernacles, even though we're at the end of it right now, going into any holy day, going to any holy day, and then any day period, but especially at the holy days, consider your ways. What am I doing? Examine yourself. Self-examination in this truth is crucial. Is crucial. You yourself could be someone that says, if they're not in my camp, they're not making it to the kingdom of heaven. That is a proud statement. That is a dangerously proud statement. And then you're telling it to others, people that are new into the truth, babes in the truth. And you're like, man, I'm glad I'm not like that. That can happen to you too. You have to be um, circumspect. You have to be aware, okay? To be in the truth, and then, you bringing it out, the scriptures and everything, and all of a sudden you say, you know what? Esau can be saved. How is that possible? How do you go from, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of to Esau can be saved? For what? What does he need to be saved from? Himself? Do you know what I'm saying? For the next Charlie Kirk assassin? For the next, I know while we was gone or while we was out there in the wilderness, cops got shot. Two police officers got shot, or state troopers got shot, and the border of Pennsylvania and Maryland, right? Two more got shot somewhere else. I think in California, or no, Texas. I think like three got murked. Two fell off a ravine. One got murked. And for the most part, I didn't see any pictures of the suspects, which means they're probably Edomites. Who are they need to get saved from? They're in the York, Pennsylvania. Five cops got shot and three of them died. This is Esau killing each other. You know what I'm saying? This is Edomite on Edomite crime. They don't need to be saved from nothing. Does Jeff Bezos need to be saved from buying another yacht? Does Elon Musk need to be saved from making another $500 billion while people starve? They don't need anybody to save them. We're the ones that are in the homeless shelters. We're the ones in the ghettos and in public housing and on food stamps that they're trying to take away, on Medicaid that they're trying to take away. We're the ones that they take out of our apartment buildings at 4 in the morning and zip tie 3-year-olds. They don't need to be saved from anything. But so can you imagine the spirit that can jump on you that says, yeah, he's good. Yeah, yeah. For 400 years of slavery in the Americas, more with the Taino Indians and the Gadites that were here, 90 million of them got wiped out, right? So but don't worry about it. He can be saved. He's good. He's gonna be sitting at the table sipping wine with your Hawashai. You bugged out of your mind. And that's scary, man. So that's why you got to consider your ways. Where am I at with this? When's the last time? And don't fast during a feast day. But when's the last time I fasted? When's the last time I got these spirits off me? When's the last time I just opened up a good book, the good book, and read? I turned off the TV, put my phone down, and I'm just going to read Colossians. I'm just going to read Numbers. You know what I mean? I'm just going to read the law. You know what I mean? When's the last time you did that and made it a habit? Okay. Consider your ways. Let's go to 2 Peter 1:10. Consider your ways because things is getting hectic. There's, it's like I heard this analogy, and you probably heard me say it before. A frog. You put a frog in a bottle of water. I mean, a barrel of water, and you just slowly turn up the heat. Now, if you turn it up all the way, you go from off to high. The frog's gonna jump out of the water because he's like, "Yo, it's hot in here." But if you slowly turn it up, and he's just like, "It's getting warm. It's comfortable." A little warmer, but I'm good. And then by the time you realize that he's cooking, just boiling, and that frog had no chance to jump out because he's cooking. This is what's happening in the United States of America. This Edomite Trump, I wasn't calling him a nigga, but we gonna, this nigga, he brought in the National Guard to LA. He brought in the National Guard to DC. He brought in the National Guard to Memphis. He brought in the National Guard to Chicago. You start looking like that National Guard is gonna be in my city soon. You know what I mean? These ICE agents are gonna be jumping out on me. You know what I mean? Where's your ID? Like Germany type 1940s Germany. Like the Nazis are running the show. Anytime you see Elon Musk do one of these things and say, "I was giving my heart out to you," when everybody starts talking about, "I'm giving my heart out to you," and you start noticing, like, yo, they really act like Nazis because they really are Nazis, and they're doing what the Nazis have done, and they think they can do it better. Okay, so we are in there. We're in the thick of it. Don't think, okay, when this happens, when Jacob's Trouble shows up, you can't tell somebody that's has the National Guard beating down their door that they're not in Jacob's Trouble just because it hasn't happened to you. You can't tell somebody that's been sitting in a South or a El Salvador Supermax prison for months with no phone call. Nobody knows where they're at. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell them that they're not in Jacob's Trouble. They're like, yo, Jacob's Trouble is serious. And you're like, no, not yet. It's not happening yet. He's like, well, it's happening to me. You know what I mean? Because metaphorically speaking, I am in trouble. I'm in Supermax prison with about 400 different gang members. I'm not even a gang member. I'm not even from El Salvador. I don't even speak Spanish. You know what I'm saying? They got one toilet, and I gotta ask the shot caller or whatever, can I use the toilet today? You know what I'm saying? And get jumped every night. You can't go to sleep because they sitting there on the beds like this. You can't tell me that that man doesn't think he's in Jacob's Trouble. Okay? So this is a time to definitely consider your ways. All right? Go ahead, you can bring that out, King.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye shall never fall.
So listen, you gotta make your election sure. You gotta stay sharp. You know what I'm saying? Let it be known. All right. I say it like this: in a time period that we living in, where people are getting sent to supermax prisons, zip tied at 4 in the morning, shot down dead in the streets, with the president saying, "Yeah, go ahead. We're not gonna charge you with anything." Um, he's probably gonna give a pardon to the guy that put the knee on George Floyd's neck, so he died of a drug overdose. He said he's coming back with Columbus Day. Oh, for all my Italians, it's called Columbus Day now. You know what I mean? No more Indigenous Peoples Day. He really doesn't care about us, right? At all. Um, with somebody like that in power, it's it's time to focus in on on getting closer to the Most High God. Let's bring that Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 34. So make your election sure. Make sure that you are on point. You know what I'm saying? Feast of Tabernacles is a time where the Most High God is watching us. We're in booths. You know what I'm saying? Not saying he ain't watching us any other time, but how do we interact with each other? How do we get along with each other? You know what I mean? Are we being helpful or hurtful? Are we being vindictive or virtuous? You know what I mean? Um, is everybody playing a part or hardly playing? These are the things that the Most High God is watching. So we have to make our election sure in the time period we're living. Kyle, you can bring it out, King.
It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
Face to face. All right. It's serious. Okay. Like he's checking us out. Go ahead.
Like I plead with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord God.
And for a lot of our fathers in Egypt, coming out of Egypt, it didn't end good. You know, fiery serpents, people got swallowed up with sinkhole. People were eating the quail while the meat was in between their teeth. They got killed. You know what I'm saying? It was some violent acts that happened in the wilderness. So when he pleads with us face to face, he's like, look, if you ain't right, I'm gonna leave you here. You know what I'm saying? And he said, look, I'm about to, Moses, step back. I'm about to off all these dudes. You know what I mean? Moses like, no, don't do that. Don't chill. You just came, my paraphrase, obviously. We just came out of Egypt, and then all these other nations gonna be like, dang, he just brought him out just to kill him. He's like, yeah, you right. All right. But then they end up dying in the wilderness, though. You know what I'm saying? The children came out, and the only people that made it, not even Moses, not even Moses, not even Aaron, made it to the promised land. It was Joshua and Caleb. And why? We can go back to that, but they trusted in the Most High. All the other Israelites, man, them guys like giants, man. I don't know if we can do this. He's like, man, what? We the Israelites. What are you talking about? Like, man up. You know what I mean? And he's like, okay, cause you have faith in me, and boom, y'all going in. All y'all gonna die out here. We're the same people. We're the same people out there. The apple don't fall too far away from the tree. Somebody tell you, man, you just like your daddy. You just like your mama. We the same people. We ain't changed that much. But we have to change because unless we want to die in the wilderness, we got to get our act together. All right. Go ahead. Read next verse.
36. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord God.
Go ahead.
I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Okay, it's gonna be rough. Go ahead.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am the Lord.
It's very important. Very important. I will purge out among you the rebels. The rebels. Let's look that up. I'm sure we all know what it means, but let's for um to break away, trespass, quarrel. You know what I mean? People like to quarrel, people like to revolt. All right. It's people that's like, yo, let's go left. Nah, I want to go right. People like, all right, let's go right. Nah, I want to go left. It's a rebel. That person can't make it, And you might and that person, that mentality cannot make it. I'm gonna purge out the rebels, right? So the transgression, the trespass, rebels. Let me see what all right, that's from the biblical perspective. Let's see another definition from let me see if I get Slovakia. It's not the right one. Rebels definition. A person who rises in opposition or armed resistance against an established government or ruler. So rises in opposition. You know what I mean? Let's see. Rise in opposition, the resistance to established government ruler, same one. So pretty much rebelling against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Rebelling, what does it say? Disobedient, rebellious. somebody just can't get along with anybody. You know what I mean? And getting along with the established order that the Most High has set up. Okay. And if he set up Moses and they rebelled against Moses, sinkhole came up and ate them up. Okay. Let me see. And rebel is used 3 times within the scriptures. One there in Ezekiel. I'm not sure about in the Apocrypha, but just the Old Testament, New Testament. Numbers 17 and 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony to be kept for a token against the rebels, and thou shalt quite take away their murmurings from me, that they die not. And in Numbers 10, in Numbers 20 and 10, it says, and Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, we must fetch you water out of this rock. And Moses, dealing with those rebels, not trusting Yahweh Shem El Shai, got him not able to go into the promised land. All right. Some rebels take you out, could take you off your square as well. All right. Don't let that happen. Let's go to Matthew 7 and 21. There's some things in this book that are scary. One is that even after all this, we're going to go into the second wilderness and people are going to die there.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I look at that, even look like from now, I said this before, but even now, people are going off. It's a dude, I don't know if it's AI. I hope it's AI, but it didn't look like AI. But a guy that was in, you know, I guess we would consider, you know, he was a high ranking in Israel, right? A leader of a congregation. And now video surfaced where I guess it's new. I don't know. I seen it, but talking in the camera saying, yeah, if I see them niggas down there, I'm gonna off them. You know what I'm saying? You know what we got on us and da da da. You know what I mean? They don't want it with us and this, that, and the third. You like, damn, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? Like 16-year-olds do that and they dumb as hell when they do it. You know what I mean? This dude's old and allegedly knows the scriptures. Oh, it's 144. Allegedly knows the scriptures and it's talking about killing people. I believe Israelites on camera, on internet. Sounds like if that's the case, that sounds like a RICO to me. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like conspiracy to me. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but people been getting caught up in these. All you gotta do is take a picture with a brother, and it's like, up, you down with him, you going to jail. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's FBI or CIA type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Brother might have got caught up on something. They said, now you work for us. But that's off, man. And you might be thinking like, well, how come the Most High still allows this person to be here? Might just be ready to off him in the wilderness. Because if he kills him now, people are like, oh, what's the point of being an Israelite if God's just gonna kill us and this, that, and the third? He gonna get us by ourselves, you know? He said, yo, come take this walk with me. You know what I'm saying? Two people walk and one person come back. That seemed like the Most High guy is the more gangster than any gangster you ever met. Oh wow. Tennessee explosion. 18 people presumed dead. Presumed because they ain't got none piece of their bodies. Their body parts is all over the place. This is during tabernacles. That's crazy.
So like, that was that military bomb?
Con.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. Presumed. We was gonna assume that they dead because we can't find a shred of evidence of DNA that they got obliterated. You know what I mean? All right, we could bring that out in Matthew's King.
It's the book of Matthew 7, chapter in verse 21. Now everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven.
That's a scary. That's scarier than any Tennessee explosion, any freaky deaky Jason movie, Freddy's Dead, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Michael Myers, Chucky, Five-Fingered Freddy or whatever like that. Listen, man, God's saying that, you know, not everyone that says his name is going to enter in the kingdom of heaven, but I said all you gotta do is say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus 3 times to get in. Everybody ain't gonna make it. Go ahead, read verse 22.
22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in the name have cast out devils?
So it's like, I was there. I was on the street corner. I was reading. I was prophesying. I went to the feast days. I did all that. Where'd I go wrong? They say you a rebel. You ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? If you disobedient, you're not gonna make it. Go ahead.
And in thy name done many wonderful works?
Mm-hmm.
And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
That's scary. You did all this. You got your family was laughing at you. Your friends made fun of you. All this, and you make it to the end, and he says, "Nah." He just might just mug you out the way. Like, yo, go ahead. You wanted vainglory. You were talking about Swiss cheese and the apartment buildings up. You were saying that only us is gonna make it. All 144 is gonna come from this camp, and everybody else is done. That's a rebel. If I ever heard one. You can't get along with anybody. How are you gonna be? You gonna be in the kingdom of heaven in a chariot, shooting down your own brothers and sisters because you just you know what I mean? You a tyrant. You know, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, let's go to 1 Peter 4:18. So this is a time period that, man, let me examine myself. The thing about it is a lot of Israelites like, he ain't talking about me. You be reading the scriptures like they talking about everybody else but me. That's not me. You gotta be able to read. You gotta be able to read this and put yourself in there. Like, damn, it could be me, man. Let me get myself in order. You know, reading Job, man. You don't get teary eyed reading Job. It's like, dang, Job tried to do everything right, and he's getting trashed, and his friends is trashing him, and all this. You know, put yourself in those shoes. So if it happens to you, when it happens to you, you know how to react instead of thinking like you just reading like this is a movie, reading some make believe. This is reality. This happened. This is happening. Them 18 people ain't coming home. I thought it was 19, but I guess it's 18. Con. Okay, let's bring that out, King. Peter 4:18.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 18. If the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?
That should be kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? Like if you, oh, I am righteous. He says, first of all, Isaiah said our righteousness, and Isaiah said our righteousness is all about a filthy rag. But you'd be like, I am righteous. I aim to be righteous. He said, you scarcely gonna be saved. So how righteous are you? That is something to think about. That is something to ponder. Spend your time on it. Relax. Think. Am I it? You know what I'm saying? I got fringes on right now. I follow the Feast of Tabernacles. I follow the new moons. It said the righteous shall scarcely be saved. So that means we got to sharpen up. We got to sharpen iron. We got to sharpen on top of our sharpening to the point where we are super sharp. You know what I mean? And what I meant to say before, I'm like you know your job's doing some cuts, right? People are going to lose their job. That is what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's talking about it. They're bringing in consultants, and you're probably somebody's going to get fired. You know what I mean? What do you do? Do you show up to work late every day? Do you keep your desk all disgusting and you know what I mean? Have McDonald's wrappers all over it? Hopefully not eating McDonald's, but just saying you got wrappers all over it and you know what I mean? There's freaking cockroaches hanging on your desk and everybody else's desk. They looking at you like, "Can you clean that desk up, please?" Are you handing in reports late, your TPS reports? You know what I'm saying? You're taking people's staplers off their desk. Is that what you're doing? Or are you sharpening up? Are you saying, oh, I'm gonna come to work a half hour early? I'm gonna, I know some people like, man, you going with that white man's job for a half hour and everything. Listen, I don't know if you never didn't have a job, but not having a job and not having no money and trying to figure things out ain't easy. So seeing, and this is obviously this is a metaphor anyway, so let's not get, I don't want to get too deep into that. But you see it coming down the pipeline. You see negative things happening. You see you're about to get fired. Somebody's about to get fired, and where possibly could be you. You know what I'm saying? You're not immune to this. Do you sharpen up or do you just fall back? Do you tidy up your desk? You know what I'm saying? Do you make sure your TPS reports are that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed so you can keep your job? Or do you say, whatever, yeah, I get another one, I'll be fine. This is how I see the kingdom. I see it as I want to be so on point, and I fall short, of course, but I want to be so on point because you got to get back up. I want to be so on point that Yahweh Shem Shai says, well, look at him. You know what? Yeah, I can't fire him. You know what I'm saying? Where am I going to find another worker like him? You know what I mean? This guy puts in overtime. He doesn't ask for this. He doesn't ask for a raise every 5 minutes or you know what I mean? I'm gonna do my he's doing his due diligence, so I'm gonna keep him on board. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe, we should all be aiming towards. Being the best people we could be, that when how about Shemal Shai comes along with the firings, when the when the X out, he's gonna be like, nah, not her. You know what I'm saying? She really puts in overtime. She's a tremendous asset to the company instead of being a tremendous liability to the organization. You know what I'm saying? Be an asset and not a liability. Because the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Let's go to Luke 12. Luke 12 and 7. No, hold on. Yeah, Luke 12 and 7.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 7. But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore. Ye are of more value than many sparrows.
So that's the level. We got to keep this in mind. I hammer this home. The level of oversight of Yahweh Shem Shai is far beyond our realm of comprehension. Okay, I'll give you a worldly example. Asada Shakur, she just recently passed away. Hopefully, the Most High has mercy on her. She was even though I don't think she knew she was an Israelite or practiced. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even say that. Just from what I know about her, she did care about her people. You know what I mean? But I saw an interview with her about COINTELPRO, and she was like, "We had no idea we'd be watched this much." You know what I'm saying? Like now we have the paperwork. You know what I mean? We got the paperwork of COINTELPRO. The government said we're gonna watch these Black Panthers, this, that, and the third. And every time they just driving and the cop pulls them over, they're like, dang, how do you even know we're here? Because they're being watched tremendously. You know what I'm saying? And we know that in hindsight. These scriptures, especially this verse, lets you know we're being watched tremendously. Okay. When I was talking about the camps and how proud they are, and you see a little white ball of light circle right here on my black hoodie, you can see it and it flies off. That wasn't a bug. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a gnat. That wasn't anything other than an angel letting you know, like, yes, we're watching, we're listening, we're paying attention. So when it says the very hairs of your head are numbered, they know everything about you. Okay. You're not getting over on anybody. You're not, oh, nobody's watching now. Now I'm going to do this. Everybody's watching you. Do you know what I'm saying? We had the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's like, um, somebody's this is, somebody else's you know, something. Let's go with a chair, right? Somebody brings a chair here and you got some hot coals and it falls on the chair and you look around, you're like, oh, nobody saw that? Okay. Cause I ain't gonna buy that chair. You know what I'm saying? That nigga burnt. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna get anybody worry about that chair. And anybody find out, they ain't see me do it. Da da da. And it's about 50 million thousand angels just sitting there staring at you like, is you stupid or is you dumb? You know what I'm saying? We watching you. We watching everything you do. Brothers was talking about they see chariots in the sky at night, whipping back and forth. There ain't no satellite. A star doesn't do that. That's not a drone. You know what I'm saying? Not making no noise, nothing. They watching you. You're not getting over on nobody. You know what I'm saying? So be a big person. I messed up your chair. You know what I'm saying? If I might not have it right now. You know what I mean? But maybe I can cash app you later on. Da, da, da. I get paid in a month or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm pretend like nobody ain't see nothing. You know, you break somebody's flashlight or something like that. You just put off to the side. Like, all right, well, pretend like nothing ever happened. You breaking the law. You're supposed to make that right. And you breaking the law during the Feast of Tabernacles, bad things gonna happen. Okay. Let's finish off with Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. So Trump says, I'm using my authority to direct our Secretary of War to use all available funds to get our troops paid on October 15th. They told all them generals to come off you know what I mean? They had to get off of boats. They in active war zones, warships. They had to get air and medevaced out of the war zone and off these megalithic warships and stuff to come to Quantico for the Secretary of War to tell them, yeah, you guys got to lose weight. We got a lot of trainees that used to be in this military and they're gone now, but you guys got to lose weight and that's it. You guys can go home now. Like what? And then Trump comes up like, yeah, we're gonna use you guys to go into Portland and Memphis. We're gonna use you as training grounds. He didn't say Portland, Memphis, but obviously that's what he meant. We're gonna put you in training grounds in the cities. They did all that, and now ain't nobody getting paid because the government shut down. Yo, the Lord is destroying this place, man. The Lord, the Most High God, Yahweh Shema Mashiach Al Shai, is destroying America. So we got to see this for what it is. This ain't no accident. This is what's really going on. God is doing this. And then on top of it, I say it once, I say it again, Three-Eye Atlas. Let me show you the picture of Three-Eye Atlas. Before you read that, she might be like, yo, why you keep talking about this? Like, can you talk about anything else? I can and I will, but I will continue to talk about what in the world is this 3i Atlas thing? What is going on here in America? And I saw an interview. I'm gonna have to play it. Most High willing, I will play this interview on Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about Wednesday. It's a satellite where a guy picked up this huge mothership. Huge mothership. I don't know where it's going, but I believe it's here. Um, and we can talk about that more on Wednesday if it be the Most High's will. All right, let me see. So this is what they say 3i Atlas looks like. Remember, of course, you're gonna have exposure, right? But at the same time, that ain't no daggone comment, man. It's not a comment. If you believe that's a comment, after the Sabbath is over, cash at me $1 million. I got you. I got a bridge in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I got a bridge in the garage. Come on, man. Notice, look at the dimension. Look at the sharp dimensions of this thing. Everybody said it looked like Texas. It sure enough does. But the interview that I seen, the guy said it's on its way to the earth. And Avi Loeb is being interviewed by the guy, and Avi Loeb doesn't say it's not. He's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why that means something because it wasn't going to get anywhere near the earth. It was going to pass Mars, keep going, past the, we can't see it because of the sun, and it was going to go towards Jupiter. Avi Loeb was like, yeah, pretty much. And then another, I think it might have been the same interview, might take it out in segments. The guy said, um, he said there's other things with it. Like we've been seeing other amateur astronomers, you know what I mean, have been seeing other objects that are right along with Threat Atlas. And he was like, yeah, I've been saying that. It, it's a good chance that it won't land anywhere or whatever like that, but it'll just release a whole bunch of probes that will come to um check out the Earth. So we are living in some amazing times. Allergies, Slovakia. All right, let's bring that out. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12.
Come on, this is the book of Philippians, chapter 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, and not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
That's very important. So I says, fear God. Don't get comfortable. Israelite, I've been Israelite for 50 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Don't get comfortable. Okay? We living in the last days. Everybody got to sharpen up. All right. Home Yashala, we got next. Let's you wanna anoint your head with oil, Baba Gashar, and we were gonna close out in prayer. I'll give you like a minute or two to do that. Home Yashala. Right, this is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Gwadash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malachbaka, Daba'ah, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamayim, Nadananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yuwam, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'a, Dabianawa, Bunasai 1, Abal, Hawashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwaf, Wa'ala, Watapalaraf, Labalumnum, Aman. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Shema Yasharallah. Yahweh, Allah, Haynawa, Yahweh, Acha, Shema, Yashirallah, Yahweh, Allah, Haynawa, Yahweh, Acha, Shema, Yashirallah, Yahweh, Allah, Haynawa. Yahweh, Acha, Shema, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah, Haynawa, Yahweh, Acha. Yahweh our Lord is one, Deuteronomy 6, verse 4, Creole of Israel, Hallelujah, 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 Kom Yashala. Yabaraki Yahweh, Shamar Ka, Yahweh, Han Yahweh, Anyaka, Hanyaka, Yasha'a Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Anyaka, Shemnaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Babakashar, Shammai, Nawa, Aitha, Shalak, Micah Elohim, La, Shema'il, Barak, Rapar, Izar, Magun, Kazak, Ataziyah, Bawa, Yasha'ala, 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 Ko, Akim, Ko, Akwathim, Ko, Bunyam, Yasha'ala, Ba'ashim, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Duwada, Demyad, Awalam, Amen. Lord Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahushai, the water for this amazing feast day, week-long festival of getting close to you, getting to know your word, getting closer to our brothers and sisters, being one with nature, and rehearsing the righteous acts, doing what our ancestors did for centuries, as our forefathers came out of the land of Egypt, dwelling in the wilderness, dwelling in booths, the water for this amazing feast day, and this amazing day of rest, our Sabbath, the water for everything, Baba Kashar, Baba Kashar, Baba Kashar, destroy our enemies that reign over us and to continue to oppress and vex us, handcuffing children coming out of their apartment building at 4 in the morning, Esau is getting more and more bold and evil. Destroy him, vex him and the other nations. Baba Kishar uplift those that aim to be righteous out of the 12 tribes of Israel. Wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Keep us under the shadow of your wing. Watch over us, protect us with your mighty angels. Show us signs and wonders in the heavens and the skies. Give us insight and dreams and visions in these last days. Renewing our mind, renewing our focus. Increase us spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically, in all aspects of our life. Baba Kishar, increase us. Just like a seesaw, bring us up while the Esau and the other nations go down. And we will be forever grateful, shouting out your name throughout the four corners of the earth. Also, Baba Kishar, let Three-Eye Atlas land on the earth and have 6 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot black men with weapons get off the planet like cosmic slop. Come get us and get us out of here and destroy these people. We can laugh and sip wine and grape juice while enjoying the judgment that you have for these people that have been vexing and judging us and destroying us for centuries. In Yahweh name we pray. Amen. Yeah, all praises. Right on. All right. God. So, hopefully, this lesson was edifying. And if you learned one thing, done my job. Okay. So what a great day. You know what I'm saying? It's a Sabbath on the Feast of Tabernacles. You can't ask for a better situation. And we woke up today. You know what I mean? It's about 2:14. Slakia, 3 o'clock, hour of prayer. Feel free to have a nice, peaceful meditation. If you have a guided meditation on YouTube channel, Sirach 20 and 4. It's called The Next Level Is Now. Check it out. That's what I will be doing, Most High willing, at that time, and getting closer to Most High, continuing throughout this day, because this is a very special and holy day set apart, from a Feast of Tabernacles and a Sabbath. You know, what a day. Okay. So everybody that's on the live and on YouTube, Kwame Yashala, we got next. Keep going. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All praises. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, brother.